Hey everybody, Jen from Scrapping Under the Influence. I am here today with a new project for the design team for Doodlebug Design. This week we are working with Fun at the Park, which is Doodlebug's Disney-inspired collection that came out a couple of years ago. It is probably second on my list as far as favorite collections go. It just, you guys all should know by now, unless you're new. Hello, welcome. I am a 1000% a Disney adult before that was even a thing. So when this one had come out originally, I bought an obscene amount of this. Like, it's out of control. And I don't care because I love it, and I was so excited that we got to do this, so I got to do an official project for Doodlebug with it. I just can't even tell you. So what I have for you today is a 10 by 10 Gatefold Folio. It has a 3/4 inch spine. On the front here, I've got a belly band that is holding this closed. The belly band is about 3.5 inches high. I've used Chit Chat pieces. I've used shaker pops, regular doodle pops, mini icons, just, you know, to kind of build a cute little cluster of all the fun things at Disney. I had to get my husband and my son, or my husband's favorite ride on the front here. He is absolutely a Jungle Cruise person. I'm a Haunted Mansion person, but that's beside the point. So this just slides off. On the back, I did use this sticker from the This and That sticker sheet in the center back of my album. That's something I've kind of gotten in the habit of doing, and I kind of like it. It's just, you know, something fun. So this opens up like so. So we've got our left and right covers. We've got our center section. So let's start with our left-hand cover. So on here, I've got one of the This and That sticker sheets popped up on very thin foam tape. I've got the little fireworks from the bits and pieces. I've got Chit Chat, or not Chit Chat, odds and ends pieces down here, and there is a magnet in here. We've got a photo mat here, and then I've got a waterfall. I use that cute film strip paper from the 6x6 pad just to mat the ends of my waterfall. And this is one of the super cute postcard cut aparts that I just put on a scrap of paper here to make a little flap where you could do pictures or journaling or what have you. And then this all closes up like so. On the right hand side, I've got stacked pockets. So we've got another one of those little postcard cut aparts here, journaling cut apart. We've got space for photos. We've got our another insert here with spots for photos. You could put some on the back even. A bunch of odds and ends pieces here, odds and ends here, Chit Chat, This and That sticker sheet, and then just another just normal photo mat on the stacked pockets. The right hand flap in the center here actually mirrors this. So again, I've got the the little photo flip with the journaling cut apart. I've got my bigger cut apart or insert here with photo space and odds and ends and Chit Chat. Got another Chit Chat piece there, another insert, and then we've got our little park shuttle that carries from one side to the other there on the front of that. On this side, I've got a belly band with an insert that holds the two flaps here closed. We've got Chit Chat here, and then mini icons on the back with some photo mats, and then of course bits and odds and ends and Chit Chat pieces on the front. This flap goes this way, this flap goes this way, and then we've got two flaps inside that flip up and down, and you've got tons of space for pictures right there. Depending on how my week goes the rest of the week, which has been so busy, I really want to try and put pictures in this one this weekend, but we'll see if that happens or not. If it does, I will post a video because that literally never happens around here. Okay, so when you open up your center flaps on the right and left side, these do mirror each other. This is called a lay flat pocket, and I show you how to make this in the tutorial. And I've just got the journaling cut aparts matted on black cardstock here and here, and the same thing on the other side, and those just tuck down into that pocket. I used the little postcard cut aparts again, and this one actually says like "Wish You Were Here," which I really didn't want right there, so I used Chit Chat piece to cover that up, and then I put another one on this side, even though I think it actually said the same thing. But I just wanted that consistent from one side to the other. On this front of this bottom flap here, I've got some odds and ends, couple of pieces from the this and that sticker sheet. We have a flap here and some this and that stickers, and then this actually is a pocket here as well, so you can get some more photo mats in there. Up top here, this is a very large tuck spot. So I've got all of these little postcard pieces that I've matted one piece on the front, and then I've got another one on the back so that, you know, they're nice and sturdy, but then you're not losing that cute little postcard piece that's on the back. And those literally just tuck in here like so. However you want to do it, they're not going to go anywhere. And I just thought that was some kind of a fun different element. I haven't done one of these for a while. So this flips up. On the top here, we've got this exact same configuration we have on the bottom, just going the opposite direction. And again, we've got a pocket here as well. That's actually one of my little cut aparts for there. Down here on the bottom, I've got another waterfall with the teacup paper, and again with the little film strip pieces from the 6x6 pad, and another mini icon sticker. And I hate the teacups, I gotta say. It was my son's very favorite ride the very first time we took him when he was 2.5, and we went on the teacups. I can't even tell you how many times. I still don't like them, and every time we go, I still end up having to go on them with him. So I had to showcase the teacups. I had to do it. And very last, and of course not least, in the center back here, we just have a nice big layout spot for a 4x6 picture. You could probably, you know, move things around and get a 5x7 in here. I've just got the white photo mat in there just when I was putting this together to make sure I left everything open and, you know, spaced right for the picture that will eventually, fingers crossed, go in there. So there we go. This all just folds up like so. And again, like this. We're going to stand that up and get our little belly band on here. That will slide right down like so. And there you have it. Tutorial starts next. As always, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when I post new projects. And let's get to the tutorial. Okay, so to start our folio base, you're going to need, and I've got this all in a weird stack here. Sorry about that. You are going to need a piece of cards or chipboard that is 10 by 10, 2 pieces of chipboard that are 5 by 10. My one here is just slightly off, isn't it? Okay, I have to fix that here in a second. So let's start with our 10 by 10. To wrap this, you need a piece of cardstock that is going to be 12 by 12. I'm going to use my 1-inch spacers, top and side, and I have covered the back of this with tape. Go ahead and peel the backing off of that. Okay, like so. For our cover, our side the gatefold. I know what I'm trying to say, I promise. These are 5 by 10, so our cardstock needs to be 7 by 12. Same thing again with our 1-inch spacers, or if you don't have the spacers, you can score it at 1 inch and then on the top and along the side and use that as a visual reference. You can also make spacers out of chipboard, but the acrylic ones are nice to have because they don't get messed up. Okay, so let me try and straighten out this other piece really quickly. Not sure how I managed that, but I bet it was because I cut it with the tape already on the back. Because my original plan for this, it was not going to be a gatefold. So I cut it 10 by 10, and then I was like, no, cut it in half. Okay, so there we go. That's better. So again, same thing here. And I didn't do... Okay, let's get this one down. Okay, our spines are going to be 10 inches by 3/4 of an inch. So it's a very thin folio. To wrap the spines, you want 1 inch on the top, you want 1.5 inches on the side. So this one, our spine is 10 by 3/4. So our paper is 12 by 3 3/4. Same process on both of those. Okay. We're done with the spacers. I'm going to move my scoreboard out of the way here. All right. So next thing we need to do is burnish, fold and burnish our paper around our hinge. So I'm going to start with my hinge. I'm going to fold that over, burnish it down, and again, folding over, burnishing down. Okay, like so, and then I'm going to take my bone folder, which I should have done this first, actually, and gone around my edges of my chipboard to kind of define it. It makes, when you're wrapping it around, it makes it go a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead, fold that in and miter. And miter again. In case you can't tell, you're mitering from this line where the chipboard is out. Okay. Okay. I'm going to fold this down. And then I can miter here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Because these are so thin, I'm not going to do on the spines, I'm not going to do both the tape and the glue. They're thin enough we can get away with just doing the glue and it will be just fine. So I'm going to put glue along the edge of the chipboard and then up into the rest of that space. Fold over and burnish this down. I'm going to wipe up extra glue, turn it back over, and then I'm going to burnish along the edge of that spine again. Okay? And then I'm going to take my 1/4 inch score tape and run it along that outside edge. Like so. And there's one of our hinges. Or I'm sorry, spines. No hinges, just spines this time. Because it's a folio, there are no pages. Okay. I totally just didn't do what I told you to do. Okay, we're going to burnish along the edge of our chipboard. Since I've already folded that top and bottom, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to fold and burnish here and here and again here and here. Miter, just like we did before. Okay. Again and again. Okay. And then same thing again. I'm just going to glue in there. Okay. And burnish it again along the edge of that spine. And then we'll add our tape. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on our cover pieces, our front and back. We're going to burnish around the edge of the chipboard. Oh, the only difference is going to be we're going to miter out those 4 corners and fold all 4 sides in. Okay? So we go there. And there. And then I can fold and burnish. Fold and burnish. Okay. And then miter. Okay. And then this one, we are going to do the combination of tape and glue, just because it's less burnishing you have to do because that tape will grab
immediately. You don't have to worry about whether or not you've got enough glue on there, because the combination of the two will hold it down very nicely. I have to get my compression gloves here in a minute, because my hands are not happy tonight. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and pull the backing off of my tape all the way around. You can do it one at a time. This is just a product of me having done so many of these. Okay, so my preference is always to do short sides first. So along the edge of the chipboard, in the middle of that section, I'm going to burnish it up, over and down. Along the chipboard, in the middle, burnish it up, over and down. Okay? And I get asked about this specific bone folder a lot. This one came from bonefolder.com. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like hard to miss. It is fabulous for being able to get wider areas like this, particularly with my arthritis or whatever it is. They said it's not carpal tunnels. Crazy enough. Okay. And there is one cover. And we're going to repeat the exact same process on the other two. And I'm going to just do that off camera. And I'm going to go find my compression gloves because it's going to be one of those nights. And when I get back, we will get all of this assembled. Okay, so I've got my cover pieces. I've got my spine pieces. We're going to start with our smaller gatefold covers. What we're going to do is fold this all the way over, burnish it down, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the backing off of this. I'm just going to kind of hold it like this, and I'm going to get glue in my open area there. I'm going to put this face down, make sure I'm lined up at the end here. And apparently move it out of place when I put it down. Let's try it this way. There we go. Okay. So that one is down. Go ahead and burnish that down. And do the same thing on the other side. Okay. All right, try this again. There we go. That worked. Okay. Again, I'm going to burnish this down. Now, so this needs to go in between. So I'm going to come on this side and basically do the same thing we just did to attach the center. Okay. There we go. Okay. Other side. Okay. All right. So there's that much. Now, we're going to reinforce our spines with 2 pieces of cardstock that are 5 inches by 9 7/8, so an eighth of an inch shorter than the overall height of the album. I have covered the back of these with tape, edge to edge, and on this step you absolutely want to use tape and you want full coverage, because when you put these down, if you're trying to use glue, you're trying to not use a lot of tape, then you're going to run the risk of this reinforcement piece buckling or bubbling up. Okay, so there's one side. With the tape, it adheres all the way across every little inch of it, and it will adhere completely flat. You're not going to have to worry about it bubbling up or lifting or anything else. Okay, I like to turn it sideways so I can kind of see how close I am. Okay, varnish that down, varnish that down, and then I am going to fold up and burnish into that crease. Okay, and I'm going to fold up here, do the same thing, and then I'm going to fold it all the way up and I'm going to pinch. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Okay, all the way up, pinch it again, and there you go. There's your Gatefold Folio base. Okay, so let me grab the matting for the front for these 2 sections here. Okay, this section we're going to have some flaps and things that go down before we do anything like on the base itself, but on these 2 side pieces, I do have elements that we need to mat underneath before we actually put them down. So let me grab the matting for that. I'll be right back. Okay, so the matting for our little front covers, inside front cover. I know what I'm trying to say, I promise. So because these are 5 by 10, the matting is going to be 4 7/8 by 9 7/8. Okay, so an eighth of an inch smaller. Okay, this one I'm not going to glue down yet because I think I actually need to trim that a little bit because of what's going on this side. But on this one, we do need to put it down all the way. Okay. All right, so on this side, we are going to do a waterfall. So you need 6 pieces that are 4 by 6.5. I did not want to glue this bottom down. Okay, so I'm going to lift that up just a little bit because one of these does go on the bottom there, and I was not thinking about that. Okay, so all of these with your 6.5 inch side at the top of your scoreboard, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, fold and burnish my bottom piece here, because that actually needs to go on before the matting. And it's going to just be centered up at the bottom. Okay, then I can go ahead and get my matting down in there as well, or put the matting the rest of the way down. Okay, there we go. All right, the rest of these, we're going to score these the exact same way. So 1/2 inch on the 6.5 inch side. And if you are new here, the reason that I use my scoreboard turned sideways like this, I cannot get a straight score line if I'm trying to come down like this. I don't know why. I can't do it. I turn it sideways, then it's more like drawing a line, and then I'm okay. So if you are somebody who has had a hard time getting straight score lines or having, your scoring tool pop out, that is something you may want to try. Oh, the Glowforge is done. So, funny story. I've been running my Glowforge pretty much nonstop for weeks now, and have known for weeks that I had a project that needed to be up on Doodlebug this coming Friday. And I hadn't done it because I've been running the Glowforge. So finally, over the weekend, it dawned on me. Why don't you find a microphone that is noise canceling so that you can run the Glowforge and actually record stuff at the same time? So, if I maybe sound a little clearer than I normally do, that would be why. It's because I've got my little headset thingamabob on to make sure you can hear me. Okay, so these are lined up. Okay, I'm going to fold that back, and we'll put down our next waterfall piece. Okay, and the next one. And the next one. Okay. And then our last one, instead of putting it down this way where you would see that tab, we're actually going to put that tab on top of the bottom tab of the one before it. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now you want a magnet. So let me grab my magnets. So the small magnets like this I get from Total Element. They are 1/4 of an inch by 1/2 an inch, and they are like 1/32 of an inch thick, I think it is. And that was just because for a while there it was really hard to find my normal magnets. So this was what I found as an alternative, and I really like them, so I have not gone back. So yeah, it's another one of those questions I get asked pretty much every video. Okay, so that section is done, of course, other than the rest of the matting, which, is not a big deal. We can get to that later. So on this side, we've got 2 pockets. that are going to be stacked. So our first is 6 by 7, our second piece is 6 by 4. And starting with the 6 inches across the top of your scoreboard, you're going to score at 1/2 inch. You're going to turn, score 1/2 inch again, turn 1/2 inch one more time. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with the next one. Okay. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to miter across the bottom where the score lines cross. Okay. And then we'll do our little miter at the top. And we'll do the exact same thing on this one. Okay. All right, so what I want to do is fold this in. So I'm going to fold and burnish on all 3 sides. I either cut too far. I did cut too far into that one, but you know what? It's okay. Because we will mat it and you will not know. Okay. We're going to burnish that. And what I want to do is measure this. So this is 3.5 inches. So on this matting, I want to cut a piece off of this that is 3 3/8. Okay. Because I will go ahead and put this one on the front of the pocket. This one will go down here after we put this pocket on. So before I glue anything, I'm going to lay this on here and make sure that it fits right. And it is just a hair too big. So I'm going to come over here on my big trimmer. I'm going to take just a tiny bit off. And then I am going to rescore at 5.5. Okay. And it was literally small enough difference that this does not want to fold. Okay. So I'm going to start in the middle here. There we go. Okay. Now let's see. That is much better. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this at the bottom first. And this should fit side to side, but we're going to make sure we're out at this edge and at the bottom. Okay. And then we want to check this one as well. And this one's okay. So, all right. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and glue my matting on the front. Ah. Okay. we go. I'm going to go ahead and glue this to the front of my pocket. At the base. Okay. Like so. We'll glue our sides up. And try not to like do what I just did there and get glue on the inside of it. Okay. All right, and then we'll go ahead and glue our sides here. And I am just having a horrible time with control on this hand. I apologize. Okay. Again, we'll burnish that down. And then our other piece of our matting, we will just go ahead and slide down inside. And glue down like so. So really, if I wanted to, I could take this and trim it with that border strip up, but I am not going to do that. I am just going to go ahead and slide it down in there and glue it down. And then the middle section there, I will mat with something else later. Okay, so we have two inserts for this. Okay, this is 5x7 and it is too wide, which I think I knew that was going to be the case, and I meant to cut it down to 4 3/4 by 7. This piece is going to be 4 3/4 by 12. And this one, we're going to score at 8 inches. Okay. Fold and burnish. Okay. So this one is going to sit down in here like so. This one is going to go in like this, and that little flap on the front is going to just kind of hang down over like so. Okay. Super easy. So let's look at, sorry, I got to find my notes here. We're going to do our top and bottom flaps. First. Okay, so the base flaps are going to be 10 by 5 3/4. You need 2 of these. Both of these are going to be scored the same, so you're going to score it 1/2 inch and 3/4. Okay, so that it has a 1/4 inch gusset. You're going to do that on both. Okay. So the elements that go on here, you can kind of put them where you want to. Top, bottom, front, back, it doesn't matter. They will fit any place. I'm going to start because I have 2 elements that are going to be the same. So we've got 2 pockets and then a half or a flap that's going to go on top of that pocket. I've got on here to put a magnet on it, but I don't know that I'm actually going to need it. So we will figure that out here in a minute. Our pockets are 6 by 5.5. So I'm going to, before I do that, I'm going to measure and make sure. And I think what I'm actually going to do on both of these is I am going to take a 1/16 of an inch off the 6-inch side. Okay, that way I am guaranteed that they're going to fit and that they're not going to be too wide for the flap. Okay, so starting with your 6-inch side at the top, you're going to score 1/2 inch, turn, 1/2 inch, turn, and 1/2 inch. And you're going to do this on both of these. Our flaps are 5 by 5.5. With the 5.5 at the top, you're going to score at 1/2 inch on both of these. And we are actually going to put our elements on our flaps before we put them in the book. Okay? Where are we? Let me think for a second here. No, because we need to start with the other ones. Okay. That's okay. We've got that started. Let's do our center flaps first. Sorry about that. It's been a while since I've done one like this. Okay, so our center flaps, so these are going to open out, are 10 by 5 7/8. With the 5 7/8 at the top, you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so again, 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so these will go like so. And let me figure out for sure. I feel like I'm missing something out of my stack here. Hold on. Something is not right, and I'm not sure what it is. I think I've got something in the wrong stack over here. Let me get this sorted out. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm having a computer issue. I'm not sure what's going on. All right, so we're going to do our left-hand front flap. So first up, we've got an insert that's going to go on here that is 4 by 9.5. We're going to set that aside. We've got 2 belly bands that are 2 by 6. You're going to score these at 1/2 and at 5.5 on both of them, and then miter. You've got 2 flaps that are 3.5 by 5.5. Again, you're going to score these with the 5.5 at the top at 1/2 inch. And you've got 2 flaps that are 5.5 by 5 with the 5.5 at the top. You're going to score at 1/2 inch. So all of these have been scored, mitered, etc., etc. So I'm going to go ahead, move this out of the way, and fold and burnish. Now, what we want to do here before we actually put these down again is just line these up on top and make sure they're not hanging over where they don't need to. I need to take just a hair off the height on this one. Okay. All right, so one is going to flip one direction, one is going to flip the other direction. It doesn't matter which is which. Okay. So this is going to go all the way to the bottom. This one is going to go all the way to the top. I have no idea what the deal is with this tonight. Keeps sticking in there and I'm not sure why. Okay. All right, so this one's going to go on the opposite side at the top. And there we go. Okay. So I'm going to open those up. These flaps, one is going to go at the top, one is going to go at the bottom. And we're just going to center those up. Close to center, doesn't have to be exact. Okay. But you do want to line them up with each other. Okay. All right. So now our little belly band here. I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish. This is going to go on top about halfway, I think. Yep. In the middle on that flap. Like so. And then again, same thing on the other flap. Okay, like so. And then this, well, once it's glued and actually dry, this will slide down like so and hold that flap, those flaps closed. Okay, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish. Hold on one second. Okay, so we got that part ready to go. Okay, so on the back of both flaps, we're going to do a lay flat pocket. This is something Tammy at Country Craft Creations came up with. So we've got two pieces. Both of these are 4 by 10. We're going to score it 3 inches and it's 7 inches. Okay. And I actually meant to cut matting for both of these because we do need to actually mat these before we finish them off. But it will be okay. Okay, so let me grab my trimmer. And actually, I think we're going to use a couple of these. So, and I can tell you, this sheet in this collection is probably my favorite as far as the elements in this collection went. It is so cute because you've got basically like little postcards. They're so stinking cute. Okay, so that's gonna go like that. Okay, so let's do that one, and let's go ahead and do the hippo because I can always cover up Wish You Were Here with something else, and that will work just beautifully. Okay, except I need to trim those down just a touch more. So we are going to take 1/16 off of each side so that they're going to mat this 3x4 top part of our pocket. So they'll be 3 7/8 by 2 7/8 when we're done. Okay, there we go there. And then as far as our little 1-inch piece on there, let me grab. Okay. So 3 7/8. And that piece right there is 1 inch. So I'm actually going to go 1 1/4. Because it's absolutely fine if it goes down into the pocket just a little bit. Okay. All right. So let's get these oriented right. One's going to, this section right here is going to face inside on both of these. So get this one turned. Okay. I'm going to mat right here. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue across here. Very, very thin line. Okay, that seals up the bottom of our pocket. We're going to glue across right here. Actually, all the way across here on the bottom. But on this top, we're only going to glue to there. Okay, we don't want it going over into that bottom section because once we close this up, I do need to go a little bit more up here. Once we close this up, we have a pocket that we can slip something into this direction and this direction, and it's completely flat. Okay, so this little guy is going to go down here. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other one, only we're going to make sure it opens the other direction. Okay. And again, on this bottom, we're going to go all the way across. Up here, we're going to go like so. And on this side, we're only going to go to the edge of this top piece. Okay, like so. Okay. And then we will glue down our matting on top of that. Okay. All right, so this one will go on the back here after this is matted. This one will go on the back side of this after it's matted. So I'm just going to set those to the side there like that for now. And we're going to work on the front of the right-hand side. So this one, we're going to have 2 inserts that should be 4 3/4, not 5 inches. So 4 3/4 by 7 and 4 3/4 by 12. These are going to be just like the inserts that we did on the flap right here, or on the inside cover. So the 4 3/4 by 12, we are going to score this one at 8. 8? Yes. Sorry. Had a complete brain glitch for just a second there. Okay. All right, so those are the inserts. I'm going to set that to the side. We've got, again, stacked pockets. So our first is 6 by 7.5. We are going to score this at 1/2 inch with the 7.5 at the top. 1/2 inch. Don't poke through your paper like I just did. Turn 1/2 inch. Turn 1/2 inch. And you're going to do the same thing on the smaller piece. Okay. First one we're going to do, we're going to miter our corners. We're going to miter our top. And I'm going to fold and burnish my sides. I probably should recut that because it did poke through, but we're going to let it go. It's okay. And I clearly just did something wrong. Well, that one's correct. What did I do here? I started on the wrong side. Oh my Lord. Okay, well, you know what? That's okay, because we're going to cut off a 1/2 inch at the top. We're actually going to cut 3/4 of an inch off the top. It will be just fine. So we should have started on the 6-inch side, not 7.5 inch side. And we're going to miter, and then I'm going to remiter here and here. Okay. Can you tell it's late on a Monday? I can. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then let's fix that one. Let's see if that's good. And we're good there. Perfect. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and put this down. Because of how we're building these pockets, we don't need to mat it beforehand. We can mat it afterwards, which we really could have matted this afterwards, but it's okay. Okay. Give that a second to dry before I fold it back and do the sides. So I'll go ahead and miter my other pocket that is going right on top. Okay. All right, so now I can fold this back. Go ahead and glue my sides down. This one will go right down here at the bottom, like so. Again, we will burnish all of that down. And then we can go ahead and fold and burnish our score lines on the side here. Okay. I'm going to set these aside for right now because I will put those on after the backs of both of these flaps have been matted, but I'm not going to stop and do that right this second. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these in. Okay, so we want to go, it's going to fit exactly top to bottom. You want to make sure you're not going into your spine area there. Okay, and there we go. And same thing on the other side. Ugh. Okay, all right, so we should be good there. Go ahead and burnish that down and then pop that back. Okay, so the reason we do these first is because our other flaps that we scored a little out of order here, we want to make sure that they are not too wide before we put any elements on them. And I can tell you right now, I need to take about 1/8 of an inch off of these. Okay, so what you want to make sure is once these are in, that everything is still going to close the way you want it to. Okay, so I ended up taking about 3/16 of an inch off. In fact, if you wanted to make sure that you're not going to run into any issues, you could take it 1/4 of an inch. So these would be 9 3/4 instead of 10. I kind of think for safety's sake, that's exactly what I'm going to do, just because I don't want to get this assembled and have those be a problem. So that's what I've done. That's what I didn't do. I didn't put these back in their little spots. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and miter both of these. Okay, so we have bottom flap, top flap. Okay, all right, so on the front of the top flap, we are going to do a very, very simple tuck spot, both top and bottom. So I'm going to fold this and burnish this down, which I wouldn't normally do first, but want to make sure these are lined up right. I need to take 1/4 of an inch off of these as well, so that they are 9 3/4 by 1. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just glue these along the bottom only. So the bottom of my 1-inch strip gets glue, and it goes right along the bottom edge of my flap. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with this one. So like so, and put that all the way to the top. Okay, so what this is going to do is we're going to be able to take things like these little 3x4 cut aparts and just tuck them in here. You'll be able to get quite a few in there, and they're going to stay put when this flap opens and closes. Okay, so there's that one. And then for the top, these were the pockets that we scored a minute ago. One of them's for the front, one of them's front and back for these top and bottom flaps. So this pocket is 6 by 5.5, and we did cut it just a hair under 6 inches, just to make sure it's going to fit. So I'm going to miter. I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish. Okay, that's going to go on the back side of this flap. Doesn't matter which side, which end you put it to, right or left. I'm going to go left on this one, and I'll go right on the bottom one. Okay. There we go there. The flap that's going to sit on top of it is 5 by 5.5. I do need to take just a tiny bit off of this one so that it's not too wide. So I'm just going to lay it on top of my pocket and make sure it's where I want it. Go ahead and miter. And then this is just going to go on top right here. Or if you wanted to, you could put it on the other end to kind of make it a closure for the pocket. I just want a flap sitting on top of my pocket, so I am going to do it that way. So we're going to lay it on top, and that flap is done. Okay, where's my other flap? What did I just do with it? Seriously, did I just there? I need to go to bed. That's all I'm going to say. It's been a day. Okay, so the front of this flap is where I'm going to go ahead and do that exact same process again. So I'm going to miter. I am going to fold and burnish. And this time I'm going to put it to the opposite side. Okay. And miter again. And that's going to go down on top. Except I needed to cut that down first, darn it. Okay, let's fix that. There we go. Okay. All right, so let me find some matting for the back of this. So this is 5 by 9 3/4. Let me see what I got here. Okay, so 4 7/8 by 9 5/8 for the matting on there. Okay. All right. So we are going to do another waterfall. So I have 6 pieces that are 4 by 6.5, and I have a base that is 4 by 8. The base does not get any scoring. Okay. So with our 6.5 at the top of our scoreboard, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And I am short a piece, so I'm going to have to find myself another piece really quickly here. Hold on. Okay. That might have been the piece that I thought went with something else and I used it somewhere else. Wouldn't surprise me. Okay. All right, so 4 by 6.5. Scored a 1/2 inch on the 6-inch side. Okay. So this one we're going to build on a base. So I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish all of my pieces. Okay. All right, so start up here. And since I'm building it on a base, it's going to make it super easy to line this up. Okay. Then our last one, I need to take just a hair off because I think my base might be just slightly shorter than it's supposed to be, but that's okay. It will be fine. Okay. So like so. This piece, actually I want this to go the other direction because I'm going to put it to the back, the tab that is, to the back, like so. And this is going to be our closure. So this one we will need a magnet. So there's those. I my tape for those. Okay. And then this will just be centered up on here. Whoops. All right. Oh, no, there it was. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, I need to go to bed. It's almost bedtime. It's getting there. But it was literally a big enough mess in here over the weekend. I could not function. So I spent pretty much all day cleaning on Sunday instead of working on this like I should have been doing. But that's okay. All right, so this is going to go flush with the bottom, centered between your other two pages. Flaps, that is. They're not technically pages. Okay. And same thing up here. Okay. All right. So these fold in like so. And this all folds in like this. And there we go. So, all right. So I'm going to open this back up. And I have a piece. Well, I did have a piece. Oh my gosh. Is that what I cut into? Oh my gosh. I'm telling you. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. I didn't. I have a piece that I started 10 by 10. Because we are obviously going to have to trim this down to whatever the actual measurement in this center section is. So we are going to be at 9 and probably not 7/8, probably 13/16. I'm sorry. I hate when I end up doing that. And then on this side, we're going to go 9 and 7/8. So 9 and 7/8. Okay. All right. So this, I'm going to glue down to cover up my tabs. And because I'm going to do a layout in the middle of the back of the book. Okay. So I want to be able to do some different paper piecing around the edge of it. And so I want it to be nice and smooth for my base that I'm starting with. Okay. That is why we're doing it that way. So okay. And I'm going to take my big bone folder, burnish around, and get this down nice and flat. Okay. So this will fold up, down, in, and then to hold everything completely closed, we will end up doing a belly band that will slide around the outside of the folio. Okay, so let me get some matting, and we will come back and put these two in and do our center layout and our belly band. Okay, so let's do the base for our layout here in the back. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my centering ruler. And this is going to be a little bit tricky because, of course, it's not going to lay completely flat, but I want to get it as close to centered as I can. I'm going to grab a pencil, and then I'm going to line up my paper that's going to be the base of my layout, and I'm going to mark where it needs to go. Okay, and I'm going to turn, and I'm going to do the same thing going the other direction. And if you remember, when we put this down, there was a slight difference in size from one side to the other versus the top to bottom. Top to bottom is actually pretty much right on. Okay, so now I can go ahead, using those marks, glue this down where I can line it up exactly centered. And then what I'll do around this outside edge is I'll just do like strips, either border strips or, just strips of pattern paper kind of around the edge of that, depending on what I decide towards the end of this to go with. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is 8 by 8. So went with just a normal size if you're one that does the smaller layouts like that. Okay, that's good. So then I can come in here and erase my lines. Okay, all right, so that's that. So on the these two flaps, we have our little lay flat pockets. So we've got a pocket here, we've got a pocket here, and these are going to sit completely flat on our flaps here. So I'm going to do it about right there, I think. So I'm going about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And then up about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and then what I've got to put in those, which I'm not going to put them in just yet, is I've got the journaling cut aparts, and I've just matted them on a piece of black paper, and literally this will slide in like this. This will slide in the top pocket like so. I can actually put a second one in there if I wanted to. So I've got 2 more to go over here. There, and then, for crying out loud, if I could pick up my paper, huh? There, like so. So there's that much. I haven't matted anything there. I did mat here, and this is where we're going to have our little postcard cut aparts. And I think what I'm going to do with those is, let me grab that. So I think I'm going to mat those on black cardstock as well, and I'll do one on the front, and then I'll do one of their little postcard pieces on the back, just because they'll be a little bit more sturdy. Then you can kind of journal on them if you wanted to. You can add pictures to the back and leave that off completely if you wanted. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so that's closed. I haven't done anything with this other than I did the matting on the belly band there, and then I matted my insert that's holding that all closed. And then I did mat my front and back and spines here. So that's what we're going to look at next. So what we're going to do a big belly band to hold this whole little folio closed. Okay, so if we measure edge to edge, help if the rulers turn the right way, we are at about 10 1/8, and we want to look at what the actual measurement top to bottom on the spine is, because we know our spine was 3/4 of an inch, but it's going to be a little bit different because you've got your covers on either side now. Okay, so I'm at 1 1/8. So what I have here is 3 pieces of black cardstock that are 3.5 inches by 12. I'm going to go and score this at 5.5. And so it's 1 1/8. Okay. I want it to be just slightly more than that. Well, we're going to try it that way. I'm going to lightly bend it. I'm going to see how it fits wrapped around the side there. Nope, we want to go just a tiny bit bigger. So 5.5, and we're going to go 6 3/4. So we're going to do it 1/8 of an inch bigger than the actual width of the spine. Okay, so like so, and I'm going to do the same thing on a second piece. So 5.5, 6 3/4. I'm going to fold and burnish. Okay. And then I'm going to lay one on here like so. I'm going to lay the other one on here like so. They do actually overlap, at least on the front. Oh, on the back too. Okay, so they do overlap. So really, we can go ahead, and I'm going to do it from the back side first. I am going to just run a very conservative amount of glue because I don't want it oozing out the back here. I'm going to line these up. And then we're going to flip it over. And we're going to do the same thing again. In fact, what I'm going to do, because I don't want to try to glue these together on top of that opening. So I'm going to actually put it so it's back on the back again. Whoops. And then do the same thing again. And I had the extra piece just in case we needed to cut a piece to kind of bridge the gap between the two, but it looks like we're actually okay. Okay. All right, so then that we can just mat and decorate, and that will be our closure for our folio. All right, that's about it. Just matting, decorating, all of that good stuff, which of course everybody has their own style. You will have seen the final product of this in the walkthrough at the beginning of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. I will be back again soon with another project. I'm actually going to do another one with Fun at the Park for Country Craft Creations. So I'll be back with that one soon. But as always, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you want to be notified when I post new videos. And I'll see you again soon. Bye.